Check, check.
Check, check.
Can you hear yourself good? You good?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
I'm really sexy.
I'm sure you've done a lot of podcasts. You have a good voice.
I sound sexy.
You have a good voice for radio too, as well.
Good face too.
All right. So welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I have a very special guest today. Today's the first time actually meeting somebody for the first time and having my podcast. I did 80 episodes so far, and this is the first one's actually meeting first time and having in the podcast. And this is my third actor. I had Rappaport, of course, and Ethan Suplee. And today, welcome to the podcast, Mr. Frank Grillo.
Oh, thank you, brother. And I'm honored that I'm the first of something.
Yeah, you are.
I'm never that.
Thank you, Chris Uvain, for this too. I appreciate it.
The great Chris Uvain.
So there's so many things I want to talk to you about, and my family is obsessed with Kingdom right now. We'll get to that later, but we're like, my son's not finished with this yet. We have a couple more episodes left. I'm not going to tell him the ending shit. But I want to take it back to New York because that's where you're from, correct?
Yeah. The Bronx, New York.
And so, how was you growing up in the Bronx?
Well, it was scary because my mother made me believe it was scary outside. And, I left the Bronx when I was like 13 or 14. So it was a big deal to leave the Bronx to go to the suburbs in Rockland County.
Upstate New York, right?
Yeah, which my parents couldn't afford, but their brothers and sisters moved there. So we found a house somehow and finagled a mortgage and moved to Rockland County from the Bronx. And that's when you arrived.
Yeah. And how old were you then?
It's like 14.
So how was it? Was that a culture shock going from the Bronx to there kind of or not?
Yeah. I mean, the good thing was where I moved to in Nyack and Nanuet, most families were from the Bronx or Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So it was a community, of people that you kind of knew or felt familiar around, and everybody sounded like, "How you doing?" They still talk like this, even though they live 45 miles away.
Yeah. How was school for you?
I was good. I was a good student, athlete. It was actually a fun. Aside from my parents being slightly dysfunctional, it was a fun upbringing. I was wild. I was free. I never went home after school, and it was kind of a cool way to grow up. I wish my kids were like that.
Yeah. Your parents are pretty open-minded about you.
They just worked. I mean, they had me when they were 17 years old. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, they were really stupid, and they needed to work for a living. And I was a latchkey kid.
Okay.
I ate Franks and beans every single night. When I came home, there was Franks and beans on them. I was like a cowboy.
You have brothers and sisters?
I have a younger brother and a younger sister.
And so you played sports and stuff?
I played everything, lacrosse, football. I wrestled my whole life and then got into boxing when I was like 16 on and off, but always played sports, always out of the house.
Yeah. And how were your grades?
They were good. I mean, I was a good student. I was fairly intelligent. I went to college. And I think I still owe them money, by the way.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But I was good. I went to a school where all of my friends that were athletes were intelligent. A lot of them went to Ivy League colleges. Yeah. And so I kind of emulated them and their parents. And
Gotcha.
I made believe my parents cared.
Sure they did.
And they really couldn't because they had to keep food on the table, so it was but I kind of imagined that I had a really big family and they really wanted me to go to college and one day I'd get married in a church. I kind of, it was all my imagination.
What was so you started boxing while you were in school?
I started boxing when I was 16 at the local YMCA. No. Okay. Yes. No, it was, what was it, Chris, when you went in the Catholic Church did...
Mexico.
No, it was the Catholic Church had like a thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like we played basketball, CCR, something like that. So I boxed and I played basketball, which basketball I wasn't a fan of, but I loved boxing. And I went in and out of it until I was about 19.
And so what were your goals in high school? What did you want to do when you get out?
Live.
Just live.
Just wanted to live. I didn't have, all my friends, it was weird because my friends, I felt like they knew what they wanted to do with their life. Like they were going to be, when you're 19 and you want to be a chemical engineer, I'm like,
that's great.
How the fuck? Oh, can I curse on this?
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, how the fuck? First of all, what is a chemical engineer?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know. Man. And how do you, at 19, where I barely know where my dick is,
facts,
that you want to be a chemical engineer?
That's true.
I don't, and most of those people are miserable, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
So I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was just going to go to school. I don't know,
Yeah. So were you working jobs and stuff?
Like part-time?
Yeah, when you get out of school, did you go right to college? You had
yeah, I went right to college. And I worked. I always worked. always worked.
Yeah.
Sold drugs. I mean, it was, yeah. And but back in the day, it wasn't bad. It was speed. It wasn't really that bad. Back then, wasn't everything better?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I didn't really sell drugs. I'm joking, but I did everything from hot tar roofing to landscaping to delivering bread to restaurants in Manhattan at 1:30 in the morning. I did all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so were you into acting too? Because were you doing plays or something?
I did. It was embarrassing. Like it was like the bastard child. You didn't talk about it. Like
Okay.
I loved it. A couple of my friends did it from school, but guys like us didn't talk about it, you know?
Okay.
And if you did, it'd be like, who do you think you are? Like, who's going to ever watch you? I'm like, I agree.
Yeah.
Still say that.
Yeah. I think you act like that too, Max, when you're taking like acting or drama. We taking something last year. You're kind of weird about talking about. You're going to be in the play. You kind of downplaying the play shit, right? A little bit.
I was like, I don't know who wants to watch this.
Right, because you can't imagine, especially when you're young, you're 17, you can't imagine that what you're going to do, like your friends are going to be interested in or even think you can do it. Like,
yeah.
I want to know, when did you decide for the first time?
To be an actor?
Yeah, like what?
Well, I was here in LA. I was in New York. I was not in LA. It was 20 years old. And I went to, I'll tell you his name. He's long since passed away. Oh man. Gene Frankel. I went to the Gene Frankel Theater down in NoHo. And he was a little old guy. And we sat down and we talked for a while. I told him I never did this, but it's this thing inside me I want to do, and I feel like I could be okay at it. And he all of a sudden became my therapist.
Wow.
And I started to he got me like emotional about my parents and this, that, and the third. He goes, I want you to come back next week. And I went there for a year before I even got up on stage.
Okay.
And I went for a year and just sat there. And I would watch and listen, and I wouldn't say a word. And then finally, he gave me a play to do.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and when I did it, I played sports my whole life, and I was pretty good at some of them.
Yeah.
So I understood when people paid attention to you because you were good at something.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like after doing it, like, oh, I think I could be good at this.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be lying to you if I said part of the allure was that somebody would pay attention to me if I was good at this.
Yeah.
Right? Because I grew up with parents that were dysfunctional, and not to get all,
No, for sure.
Yeah, and so that was part of the why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a movie or an actor that inspired you to do it?
No,
Wow.
it wasn't. It was something
awesome.
I wanted to do. I mean, I thought it was I loved Burt Reynolds growing up. I still love Burt Reynolds. I think he's probably, to me, one of the coolest cats that's ever been on the screen.
That's awesome.
And
how many people mention him ever?
I love him. And he is underrated because he was I think he was one of the great actors.
Yeah.
And a great movie star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people usually say his name, that's cool.
I know.
It's like the underdog and shit.
Yep.
So then you're out of school and you're doing the acting stuff and you're boxing and you're working and you're going to college as well.
I'm done with college. I've moved to LA. I'm like what everyone does. I'm in a couple of acting classes. I did a couple of plays in LA, which is silly.
Yeah.
I have an agent. Somebody approaches me. First of all, before that, when I was like 20, I get approached by this commercial agent on the street. I sign up with this commercial agent and I go on to do like 60 national commercials.
Wow.
So I made a fortune. Like I never really had to work. Like I never bust or waited on a table or anything. I would do commercials.
Wow.
And then in between that, I was a personal trainer back in 1990, right?
Sick.
Only with gay men. I only trained gay men. And they were the most, that's when I kind of got introduced to the gay community.
Yep.
And I got to understand what they were about.
Yeah.
And I loved them because they were so authentic.
Yeah.
They were consistent, committed, and they all had money and they worked hard.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with them. And they became my friends here in LA. They really did. Like I would go to hang out with them at their houses. And so that was my jam. And I made a fortune doing that.
It's fucking awesome.
And so
how old were you then?
I was like 22.
Okay.
And then I got an agent and I went on 2 auditions. The first one was for a show called Friends.
Pro.
And
wow.
And I got right to the studio and it was me and some guy named Matt LeBlanc.
Holy shit.
I don't need to tell you the rest of the story.
That's crazy, man.
Then the next audition I went on, because I really wanted to act. And I wasn't one of those guys thinking how to plan my career. Like, I'm going to do just movies and I'm going to be because again, I still am the 17-year-old kid. I'm like, who's really ever going to pay attention to me? Anything that comes my way, I just want to act. I want to,
Yeah.
Then the next audition, they fly me back to New York to read with like 30 guys for this show called Guiding Light. It's soap opera.
Yeah, Guiding Light.
And I'm the last guy.
Yeah.
It's like 12 o'clock midnight. I've waited all day and I'm like, this was the worst idea I've ever had in my life. And I'm exhausted and I don't give a shit. And I'm like, it's a fucking soap opera, you loser.
It's a big soap opera, Max, back then.
So I go and I do the audition. And before I'm leaving, the executive producer goes, why don't you let me give you a ride back to your hotel? I'm like, well, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah.
I get in a back in the day, they had stretch limos and there's like 6 other people. And they said, we think we want you to do this.
Wow.
And that was my first kind of professional acting gig.
Yeah.
That was a consistent, regular.
And that was a legit show back then. That was
I was on a soap opera and I became like which was my wife. I married the woman that was my love interest on the show.
Holy shit.
And we became the couple. We became
wow.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great. Listen, to me, an actor acts, right? And whenever you get a chance to act, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
You do it, man. That's my attitude. I'm a utility player. I mean, use me wherever and I can find a way, I think, to make it work. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wish I was a guy like Daniel Day-Lewis who could take 2 years for each role and make 6 movies in his whole career. Yeah, that would be awesome. But I'm not him. So
was the Marvel King after that?
Oh, Marvel was, and this is when Chris and I were. It was really just Chris and I and a couple of other of your clients. It was early on, and I had done Warrior and The Gray, and I was doing Homefront. I was in New Orleans, and I had to fly up and do a screen test with 3 other guys. And it was a big deal. And it was another time when I screen tested last. And, and all the guys I screen tested with, you know them. I mean, they're... And again, I walked out, and Joe Russo came out. He goes...
It was the best thing that had happened to my career up until that moment.
Right.
Wow.
Sure.
Right.
And we were told right away that you had gotten it.
Right.
And that never happens.
Right.
You're usually waiting whatever their 5-day period. And I think we got a call next day.
It was quick. Yeah, it's quick. Yeah. I almost blew the job like 6 times by telling people you're not allowed. Because I get nervous and they would ask me, I'm like, yeah, it was there. And then what? Wait, you can't? No, tell him to shut up. Or I almost got replaced about 60 times. But you know what? So did Don Cheadle and Mark Ruffalo. They all get in trouble because it's human nature, and you get tricked a lot of times into saying things. Now it's even my character's in the movie for 12 minutes. In the second. But I'll go and do press junkets for things, and people will ask me questions about Crossbones, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe he'll come back. The next day, it's all over all of the comic website. Like Frank Grillo wants to come back, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, would I come back if they asked me if the thing was cool? Of course I would. It's Marvel. I mean, yeah.
Totally, that's amazing.
They changed my life. By the way, it changes your life as an actor. I don't care how big or small the role is.
And being the Marvel thing, you mean?
And people liked Crossbones, and they wanted to see more of Crossbones.
I have 5 toys in my office.
He has his tattoos, 5 toys. I mean, he's got, look.
You have tattoos of it?
Look, are you kidding?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And he's got other Look at the other tattoo. The Purge. I purged.
Oh, fuck. Purge. Let's get to the Purge.
Yeah.
So we all watch all the Purges.
We have to be buried together.
The fucking Gray was such a great movie, dude.
That's my partner.
Dark, man.
Yeah.
I heard it was like super freezing out there and shit.
It was not bad. It was like 40 degrees below zero every day.
Oh, not bad, yeah.
That wasn't bad. Yeah. That's another movie that changed the course of my career, changed the trajectory from being one guy to maybe now being taken a little bit more seriously and being able to stand up against an actor like Liam Neeson and holding your own, which was, and that director and writer, Joe Carnahan, eventually becomes my partner in the company we have now, War Party, which we're about to go to Atlanta. He's there already to make a movie with myself and Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our fifth film in 3 years. Yeah. And including Fight World too. So
that's a cop shop, right?
Cop shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Look, you can do it. You know, him and I have worked so hard together, and he's gone on to become Chris. I'm pointing at my friend and manager, Chris Uvain. He's gone on to become a force in the business to represent people like Margot Robbie and tragically we lost Chadwick Boseman, but they were brothers, and Chris nurtured both of those careers. And it's great to see each other to come up together. Yeah. It's a bond that you can't even describe to people. Do you know what I mean?
Knowing you for how many years previous to working together, when I saw The Gray, you were managed. I couldn't ever bring it up, but I was like, number one, that performance is unbelievable, and number two, I was really upset that I didn't manage you. I remember feeling that.
Right.
Just when we see movies and roles of things that like Taxi Driver, like that character, and like I thought of him as Denzel in Glory or.
That's dope.
That's my boy. Yeah.
Amazing, man.
And I wanted to represent you, and I couldn't say anything because you were managed.
Yeah. I was mismanaged.
But you both met out here. You guys are both New Yorkers.
We're family. We're family. His brother Kevin and I met 20 some odd years ago and became a brother, a mentor, a father figure, in every capacity continues to be, an incredible influence and force in my life. Yeah. So, and all the Uvains have become my family. His father is, that's Pops. So yeah, it's been a great journey. Yeah.
And I just met Chris not too long ago, just through the punk rock world.
That's another thing.
Because he grew up in my band, and I kept hearing about this guy, Chris. He's in industry, and I see some things you post, and I comment, didn't know each other. Yeah. And then you came to my show, and then we totally connected there. Toby. And he grew up in my band in New York. It's such a small world.
And he knows every human being on the planet. Yeah. I went to China, and I was sitting at a table, and I was eating by myself, and some guy said, "Are you Frank?" I said, he goes, "I'm friends with Chris Uvain." I'm in Beijing.
He's a people person. He's a very outgoing human, man. But I'm so happy we connected and
it's awesome.
And became friends. And thank you for making this happen too. End of Watch was really interesting. I found out today that Natalie Martinez, who was on Kingdom Now, was in that movie with you.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
I love her. You know, in fact, she was a name that was mentioned for Cop Shop for the. Oh wow! But she's busy, and but she's a great friend of mine, and I'm a big fan of hers. And she's, again, I always say it, one of the great faces in Hollywood. She's got a beautiful face. Yeah.
That movie had a very Training Day vibe to it.
It was, I think it was David Ayer's best film. I really do. Really I think he did such a phenomenal job. I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal's breakout movie. I do, because Jake did a lot of work on that movie, and people looked at him entirely different. And Pena too. Pena's always great. But it was another movie that we had a string. We went from Warrior to The Gray to End of Watch.
We had a philosophy of doing it brick by brick.
Yeah,
at that point,
brick by brick.
Now we do building by building.
Yeah, right. It's true. I mean, but that was a time where we were doing like really cool pieces, even if it was a smaller role, and building your reputation. And, I was older. So listen, my life, it's not supposed to happen this way.
Started later.
Yeah, I started later. And the whole action thing started even later. I mean, it's like, it's me taking care of myself in a certain way and being a certain athlete, and really has paid off. In spades. And, I like Liam Neeson, became an action star at 58 years old. Yeah. After Taken. So
even Josh came late with the Avengers shit too.
He did, man.
Deadpool.
And for my money, Josh Brolin, to me, and we're friends, Josh.
Yes.
We became friends through other people, and now we talk to each other on Instagram, and I see him.
Great human, dude.
I think for my money, I don't know that he's underrated, but I think he's one of the best in the business. I really do, as far as being a dude and being a poet and an artist.
He's a book.
Yeah, and he's compassionate and empathic, and I love watching him on screen. I can't wait to see him in Dune.
Yeah, I'm stoked on that.
I'm a huge Josh Brolin fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a great all-around fucking human. Yeah. Incredible actor. You're right.
And flawed.
Yeah.
I love it. He's like, if we're going to war, he's one of the guy I imagine, this guy, always.
Chris Uvain, yes.
And guys like that, I said, okay, you're part of the tribe.
John Joseph too.
John Joseph.
He's in the tribe too.
Every day, all day. Yeah.
It's crazy that like even the inspirational wise, Josh Brolin from Goonies till now, that's a fucking long ass career, man.
Come on.
It's pretty incredible, man.
Yeah. I told my kid because during COVID, I'm in the middle of a divorce, so I have my kids like 3 nights a week, and I do movies every night. And we did Goonies the other night, so they're Marvel freaks,
okay?
Right? And so we're watching the movie. I go to my son Rio. Do you know who that is? Yeah, no. And he goes, "Who?" I go, "That's Thanos." He goes, "No, it's not." I go, "Yes, it is."
It's baby Thanos.
And then he made me go fast forward to the credits because he didn't believe me, and he was shocked. And then Josh posted something about the Goonies.
Oh shit!
And I went, dude, we just watched the movie, and my kid doesn't believe that that's you. And he said for his birthday, we'll do something.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's just inspirational that whole career for sure.
Yeah, he really is an amazing talent.
Yeah. So then the next thing was your first leading role, which would be Purge, correct?
Yeah.
That shit was fucking, we watched every single one of us, me and my son. They're fucking, and you killed it in there, dude.
Well, we talked about when I got that role, and that was really the first time that we sat down and said we could elevate this. Right. And it's like, it's when you say B movies, but in the best sense of B movies. Right.
Gotcha.
And I listen, if people say you're a B movie actor, I'm like, thanks. Like, because my favorite movies growing up were B movies. My favorite movie stars were B movie stars. And I don't mean that as in A is better than B.
Totally.
It's not. It's a different. It's almost
an aesthetic, a hard work.
It is. It's an aesthetic. That's you know what I mean? Like Kurt Russell and all those movies. Those were B movies. Escape from New York and all those Charlie Bronson movies. Those are B, great, elevate. All those Clint Eastwood movies. Yeah. Those were all B movies.
That's so weird. It was. That's crazy.
In the best sense of the words. So we got to do something, make the movie that we wanted, that I was excited about. And James DeMonaco let me kind of be involved in creating a character.
Remember back then, their model at Blumhouse was to find a movie star, create a genre piece for that person. You remember? And we went out and like they came to us, they offered it to us, and we were like, how do we make it Frank's thing?
Right. Make this guy the centerpiece.
A million and one actors.
Right.
Do it.
Absolutely.
Special.
Right.
James obviously was great. We didn't know his work as that well.
No, he was great.
I think you had known him maybe, no?
A little bit.
But it turned out to be like, one of them.
It was amazing. And it was the first time I had involvement in like what I looked like. And I said, I want to look like this is the aesthetic. Yeah. Cut something out of a lot of the line. It was less talking. And it was and it really, I thought that Purge Anarchy, I think is a cool fucking movie.
It is.
It's cool. It's badass. And I got to be, that's when I became this, at my age, people were like, oh, you could.
How old are you then?
Well, I'm 36 now. No, I must have been, how long ago was that, Chris?
That's got to be 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, I was in my 40s. I mean, I was in my mid to late 40s. Yeah.
It's kind of like when a band's like doing a career for a long time and they don't really get any hits or anything, but then later on, like the Mighty Boss Tones, they had a long career, then they had a huge hit later on, like over 10 years into their career.
Right. And people who hear that one song think they're just discovering this new band.
They've been around for years.
Do you know how many times people say this to me? They're like, hey man, I just saw Kingdom. And it's the first time I really saw you. I'm like, isn't that amazing? To me, that's it. People go, oh, they don't know. I'm like, this is the most exciting thing in the world because there's constantly room for me to get discovered by people who don't know who the hell I am.
Testament to being a good actor that you kind of melt into things that they've seen probably.
And they don't, people don't, So it's, I love it, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's cool. Look, the mastermind behind the kingdom of it all is our friend and agent, Charlie Jennings, who from James Gunn's tweet about a show people should be watching, James Gunn, the director. Yeah. Charlie Jennings had this idea to go to DirecTV and to Netflix and see if they could make a deal.
Wow.
Because of the pandemic.
Yeah, because of the pandemic, because Netflix was running out of content and nobody saw this really good show. And within a short amount of time, we were on the air. We were on their radar and ready to.
Yeah, it was on demand first, right?
Nobody watched it because nobody would really, who knew about it to go to demand even to watch it. This is the amazing thing about Netflix.
Yeah.
You get a show on Netflix. It's,
Yeah, you have a couple things on Netflix right now.
Yeah, we
like,
made 2 movies for Netflix with our company, War Party, Wheelman, which is a terrific little movie.
Super awesome.
And Point Blank with Mackie and Marcia Gay. And then we have Fight World.
That's right, Fight World, yeah.
And now Kingdom. So
it's fucking crazy.
I like
man.
to say that I'm a staple at Netflix.
You are, man. If you Google your name for Netflix, it's like
Staple.
so many
It says
things.
staple.
Okay, I want to get to that, but I want to go back now to also Captain America and shit, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. What an amazing movie to be in, and a massive fucking.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how big. I don't think because that was before Marvel was Marvel.
We also didn't know what it was.
Right? We didn't know what it was. And what a journey. What an amazing, to watch the Russo brothers who were scared shitless. They wouldn't show it, but they were taking on a big thing. They didn't ever do anything like that. Who knew who the Russo brothers were? Like, kudos to Kevin Feige, the genius.
Yeah.
For recognizing that these guys had something, a voice in that world.
Yeah.
And I think, for my money, and I'm not saying it because I'm in the movie, I think Winter Soldier is one of the best real films in the Marvel world.
Yeah, it's incredible, man.
It's emotional. It's
Yep. It really is. And it's written so well.
Yeah.
And it again, changed my career at a later age. And it was great.
Yeah. Brolin too. Yeah. It's just, I would say the same thing. You loved it, right, Max?
Yeah, it was a great movie.
We saw it a couple times. Yeah.
But to me, Brolin was always a star.
Yeah.
Only because as an actor, I really admired him always. So
Yeah.
it was interesting to hear you say that people discovered him again from the Marvel movies. I mean, that's how my kids know him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And people listening now, Josh Brolin's an old school punk rocker from a band called RKL, Rich Kids on LSD. He's an old, like, Dogtown skateboarding punk rocker.
Yeah, he's a motocrosser. Like,
Everything,
we talk
man.
about dirt bikes because I ride bikes and
And
he's a dude, man. He's a dude. He's a dude.
I know we're done jockeying you, Josh.
Yeah, we jocked Josh. I don't know how it happened, but it's a love fest for Josh Brolin.
And then you went back and did election year after that. You came back.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
It was
man.
also cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't as cool. I don't think I think we should have stuck closer to what I was in the first one, but it worked. The movie made a lot of money, and it bought my house in the Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Which is no longer my house.
But that's still fucking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. So, and then was it Civil War too, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then I was in the Avengers for a second. Like they put everybody in the movie for a second in Flash.
But still.
Yeah. Anytime and they had to talk me into, like, I was like, I'm not going to do the, come on, man. It's like,
that's one of the biggest disagreements we ever had.
Right? And he's like, you're doing this. I'm like, I'm not doing it. He goes, you're doing it. And him and I were going back and forth. And then Joe Russo called me. I'm like, Joe, I'm not coming. He goes, just do me a favor. I go, I'm fucking busy. I'm not coming. Let me alone. I'm like, I'm not in the movie for 3 seconds. Why do you need to see me? He goes, you'll see. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, I'm not going. And he's like fucking angry. He was going to drop me and take the tattoos off his body. So how about this? So I'm sitting there, and my son Remy, my 22-year-old, I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there, and my son is very quiet, but he's our boy. Like, he boxes with us, and he's our boy, right? And he looks at me. He goes, "Daddy." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You should do it." I go, "What?" He goes, "Go do it." I go, "Really?" He said, "You need to do this." I go, "It's a tiny." He goes, "There is no tiny.
Facts.
It's the Avengers." And I went and did it. Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
I know.
So good.
I know.
Even 3 seconds in Avengers is fucking.
But dude, it was the biggest movie ever.
I know, man. Wow. Imagine you
I'm in a couple of those movies.
And for 2 years, I told everyone Frank was the lead.
I know. Yeah.
You did do that though. Holy shit.
No, I mean, and then my little guy gets to see it, and then we go to the premiere.
Pop us in the movie.
Yeah.
Avengers.
And who the fuck do I think I am to
But
say?
still, though,
come
I'm
on.
so proud of you. That's so good.
Yeah.
Another movie that was great, Sweetest Thing, man. Let's not sleep on that.
Let's sleep.
I
on
fuck with that though.
No, come on. I'm not in the movie. Come on. I'm in the shower for 2 seconds.
It was still a good. Well, that's a pretty crazy cast though, too, back then.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the first time I ever was in a movie, I think.
And
Yeah.
were you in Prison Break with Mike Rath during that time?
No, I was on the first season.
Okay, yeah.
What I like to call the best season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
So like Battery Park, For the People, Prison Break.
Yeah, those are all like, struggling
Blind
actor.
Justice.
Yeah, Blind Justice, Bochco. It was a fucking TV show about a blind cop with a gun. I don't know.
Point blank.
Point Blank.
Blank.
All that shit. CSI, Law and Order, The Gates.
Yeah, I did the actor thing. I'm telling you, I earned my keep,
grinded,
man.
bro.
I grinded.
Billions.
Billions. Another show.
Fuck, man. It's so
That's
many.
another thing that I get more emails about that fucking show.
Yeah. People go to me, man, you were really great on Billions. I'm like, really?
I'm gonna peep that next. That's the next one on the list.
By the way, those boys. They got it down to a science. All great actors and actresses on the show.
Yeah.
The producers are awesome, and they are linked into the zeitgeist. Like people love that show.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's on my list for after.
I don't know. That's how little I know. I know nothing about anything anymore. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, Billions? What's that? It's like old women who would never be part of what I do.
Yeah.
In my career, they come up to me and go, "Oh my God, you're the artist." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They go, "In Billions." I go, "Oh my, another person wants you." It's crazy.
Is it hard to keep up with some of your character names that people recognize you from different? Like, oh, that movie. Oh shit.
It's 90% of it is dudes like us.
Yeah.
I go, "Man, I love you. I love you, Shannon." And to me, like kids from his age to guys our age, that's what makes me excited. Is getting our dudes excited. Like, But now, even with Kingdom, a lot of young women and middle-aged women, like dig the show and
Yeah.
And so it opened again, brick by brick. It's opened up, and I this is a testament to my guys.
Yeah.
And ladies, it opens up people's world to how many actors are there in the world? I mean, there's so many people, so many stations, so many networks, so many movies. It's like, who am I? You know what I mean? And so if I didn't listen to them, you know, I'd be in my house doing plays in my basement.
Yeah. But I mean, people have been seeing your face popping up at different movies for all these years, and then different movies and Avengers, and all of a sudden the Kingdom's like fucking night is out. It's not like
it's weird that it's Kingdom, but it's great now. It's like mostly it's people go, "Hey Frank, hey Frank, hey Frank, hey Frank," and I'm like, wow. At my age, to become almost famous is a weird thing because I've worked a long time, and a lot of people go, "Hey dude, love you, stuff. What's your name?" Like they used to be that, and now little by little, it's a trip.
Yeah. Then a Wolf Warrior was like the highest grossing non-Hollywood movie or something.
So it was a Chinese movie.
Yeah.
It was the
Big Daddy.
It was this. No, it wasn't the first 7. It was a big movie for me financially.
Yeah.
The Russo brothers produced it. They offered a ton of money for us, and everybody said no one's going to ever see it. Don't worry. So I went to China for 3 months, and I shot a movie, and I was the guy. I was the bad American in Wolf Warrior, and China was saving Africa and all of its resources from the bad Americans.
Okay.
Interesting story.
Yeah,
not true, but interesting.
Very interesting.
Anyway, Wolf Warrior 1 made $180 million. Wolf Warrior 2 made just south of $1 billion.
Wow.
In China, becoming the largest grossing movie, obviously in China, which will never be beat, and the second highest grossing domestic film behind Star Wars in the world. So I'm in Avengers, which is the highest grossing foreign movie in China, and I'm in Wolf Warrior 2, the highest grossing. There you have it.
It's pretty fucking amazing.
You know where I'm famous? In China. I'm big in China.
It's so fucking crazy and random.
Crazy.
Though. Jesus
Crazy
Christ.
and random.
So there's so much shit. I just watched Wheelman, which is so fucking good. It's got a drive vibe to it. Very intense, very anxiety ridden. Really great movie, man.
Thank you. Yeah, that was our first movie as War Party.
Yeah.
And we made it for $5 million for Netflix.
Sick.
And it could have been an epic failure, or what it was, which was, I think we made a cool 88-minute high intensity.
That was the first thing that we thought to ourselves, let's develop something for you.
That's right.
People don't want to do it.
Right.
Let's find something. And I said, Frank, you now have homework for the first time in your career.
Right.
Go find a script you love and let's go try to put it together.
That's right. And we did, and we sat at CAA.
Yeah.
And they were just going to the Cannes Film Festival to sell the movie.
Yeah.
And they started to, and Netflix came in and bought it. And we were like, wait a minute, is that good? This was, again, wasn't this before Netflix was really, and they were having problems with theaters and stuff. Netflix wasn't what they were now, right? And we were like, and they went, well, they want to pay and they want you to make the movie. And we were like, well, it's guaranteed eyes on the movie. And we went and did it, and it started our relationship with Netflix, and it launched my company, War Party.
It's fucking awesome.
With my partner, Joe Carnahan, and we've been off to the races. It's amazing. Try to plan your life and see what happens. Try to plan your life. Yep.
It's cool, my man. I heard Slane's voice on there. I'm like, oh shit, Slane's in here.
He's a badass, man.
Great actor.
We just did a movie together.
I know, he said that. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good people, man.
Yeah, he's
Boston
good people.
kid. Man.
More of the tribe.
Part of the tribe. And then Fight World, which I watched a couple episodes of that. It's really awesome.
I mean, again, it was an idea I had while I was in China shooting that movie.
Okay.
I was watching Bourdain every night. I'm like, it would be interesting if I did the same kind of format, but instead of food culture, I just kind of engrossed myself into fight culture because I love fighting.
Yeah.
And we went in and pitched it to Netflix. They bought it in the room.
It's fucking amazing.
And we were off to the races. And,
There's worldwide love for that show.
Yeah, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. I probably, would have loved to do another season or two. COVID now is, it cost a lot of money to make the show. Mm-hmm. But even in its iteration now, if it just lives there as a docu-series.
Yeah, totally.
Just so proud of it.
Yeah.
So proud of everybody involved in it. And again, it was a War Party thing, and we put it together, the guys put it together.
Yeah. It's super cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dive into that after we finish this fucking Kingdom shit again. The second time. So Kingdom, we'll shit this more. There's War Party, get the Cop Shop coming out. And you just in Tulsa, the urban cowboy vibe.
Yeah.
That was with Slane. That was the same movie.
That was cool. It's, a little thriller. What else do we have, Chris? Hitman's Bodyguard's coming out. Hitman's got to be.
And The Father.
Yeah, that just got announced.
I just saw that.
By surprise.
It just got announced, yeah.
That was happening.
Yeah. We have a bunch of stuff. We have a bunch of stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Boss Level, which is a movie with me, Mel Gibson, and Naomi Watts, which we produced. A pretty big action movie, which could be a game changer. I mean, it's we got a bunch of stuff in the brick by brick, man.
Yeah, and then No Man's Land. No Man's Land.
No, I don't even know what that. Yeah,
I saw that too. Obviously,
I don't even remember.
There's so much shit. There's so much stuff, man.
Yeah, no shit. You could say shit. It's fine.
There's so much fucking shit. No, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
You have a very Al Pacino vibe.
Do I?
You really come off like Al Pacino to me a lot on Kingdom, man.
That's amazing. Listen, that is the highest compliment, and I actually am friends with him.
Okay, well,
Frank, let me tell you, Frank, about Kingdom, Frank. You were very good and believable in this show, Frank.
You have a lot of his mannerisms and just, I don't know.
I love him. I love him so much. And to get to be friends with him, I'm going to drop a name. So I became friends, me and Joe, with Sly. And we would go to his house and watch the fights or the Super Bowl. And it would be me and Sugar Ray Leonard and Al Pacino and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And and after like the third time, I'm like, this is still amazing.
Surreal with that,
yeah. Surreal.
Yeah, very vibes. And then I would say Jonathan Tucker on the show has got a very Jeff Spicoli vibe.
And I got to tell you again, should be doing more movies. Like he's great, out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful mess.
I saw him in something else after that, right after that. Netflix was a total normal kind of dude.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was.
He's nothing like that character.
Yeah.
He's a very well-educated.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his father is one of the foremost experts on the painter Matisse.
Wow.
And so he grew up very educated, part of the intelligentsia. And during makeup, he would read the New York Times cover to cover.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't even read one article.
Yeah, I have no attention span for that shit.
No, who cares?
But my Kingdom review is it's Sons of Anarchy meets Peaky Blinders.
That's a great, yeah.
It's just, I mean, the cast, like I have my notes up here. There's every single person, even fucking Adrian is your mom from Rocky.
How great.
Which is fucking crazy to have her in there. Everyone was like, holy shit, that's her. Like,
The people on that show were very brave too. And I'm not speaking out of line. Kelly Sanchez was pregnant during the third season, and lost the baby in her 9th month.
in real life. Holy
So she went away for a little while and came back, and she and Byron decided that they should write it into the show. So then the character...
Are you hearing that? That shit was real?
So then the character loses our baby. And that whole thing, it was almost cathartic for her. The other thing...
That's fucking heavy, man.
The other thing, and again, I'm not speaking out of line because it's been told before, but Byron's real mother, unfortunately, took her own life.
Wow.
And so he decided to explore that with Talia Shire.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to kill herself in the very same way.
Yeah.
So they were very brave. It was a very brave show artistically.
Yeah.
And very authentic for that reason.
Yeah. And fucking, there's so many characters. And then Paul.
Hauser.
Dude, incredible.
By the way, the guy was flipping hamburgers. They hire him. Byron Belasco. So this kid's amazing. He's an amazing actor.
Man.
He came on.
Max Keith on the show.
He almost, he almost, at some point, like when he would be in scenes with me, which he's not in a lot, I would be like, this motherfucker's going to upstage me. And I would have to tell, and I love him. Like, he's great.
Yeah.
And I would have to tell him, stay the lines, motherfucker. I see what you're doing. Like, because he's so good.
Dude.
He could easily steal scenes. Easily. And he's so fun to watch because he's so free in his demented state of mind that he normally is in. And Keith is another guy who publicly kind of talks about his struggles with, being sad a lot of the times.
I see his posts and stuff.
He pours it into his work. I mean, then he's the lead character in Jewel, working with
that's right.
Clint Eastwood. Then he's with Spike Lee, and so
he's incredible, man.
He's incredible.
He's a funny guy too.
And just there's so many. Even Lena Esco, like Ava's sister.
Yep.
Gosh, she's such a piece of shit. Though I fucking hate her character so much.
She's great in it, and
She did her job.
She did her fucking job. Yeah,
also,
man.
Also, maybe one of the prettiest faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dominic, the dude from fucking Oz.
Yeah.
Bro, he was so. I hate his character so much.
I wanted to smash him in his head. And we're friends. Him and I are friends.
Dude.
And I'm like, I wanted to. And the other guy that I'm friends with was Mark Consuelo.
Yeah, from fucking Days of whatever.
Yeah.
Soap opera, his fucking wife. Yeah. My wife's like, oh my God, my wife recognized it from that show.
Yeah, they were
he was such a piece of shit. I was like, I wanted you to smash him so bad.
And I did.
Like, you did. You fucked him up.
The one thing you should talk about, though, and I'm not the interviewer, Toby, you are, but when we read that, Frank, it was called Navy Street.
Yep.
It was called what?
Navy Street.
Okay.
And our client, wrote it, and we thought it was interesting. And Frank, I love boxing, but Frank got me back into boxing at a later form of life, and I started training with his trainer, and he started saying, I could really work with this world because it feels like it's an outsider's perspective, and it needs to go inside out.
Right.
And so Frank met with Byron.
Yeah.
And said, I'm going to bring in trainers that are real guys.
I sent him to New Mexico.
Yes.
I read the script.
It was completely different had that not happened.
Right. It would have been completely different because I read the script and Byron didn't know anything about the world.
Okay.
And I read the script and he was touching upon things, but he didn't go in, right?
Yeah.
Because he had no access. And I had done Warrior and I had trained with the great Greg Jackson, who trained 27 champions, I'm including John Jones and, George St. Pierre. He's Greg Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson Wink MMA down in New Mexico. I said, why don't you do this? I said, it's a good script. And I said, it would be cool if I could hook you up with Greg Jackson. And he knew who Greg Jackson was. I said, would you be willing to go to New Mexico? This guy got on an airplane with the script. I called Greg. Greg was the fight coordinator on Warrior.
Okay.
Went down. The script came back and I was like, oh boy, now we got something great.
Fucking awesome.
And then Greg came on to be the coordinator, the fight coordinator with Joe Daddy Stevenson. And we brought in, we reached out to everyone we knew and started to bring in real fighters. If you watch extras in the back, those guys are either pros or they're amateurs that are working towards. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Gabe Rosado. Joe Benavidez. There's the names go on. Frank Trigg.
You can see it.
Frank Trigg. Big Mike.
Get bummed out when you watch a show about a specific genre or topic and it doesn't hit the you see what the perspective is not the actual.
Right. Right.
This the best feedback we ever got was like, dude, that's how it really is.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
That's how fathers are. That's how families are.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the theory was like, and I'm certainly not this guy, but I'm going to be this guy for a second. I'm going to quote or paraphrase Hamlet from Shakespeare when he's addressing the players and he's telling them how to act. And it's actually, if you're a young actor, read how Hamlet addresses the players before they're going to put up the play. And he talks about what you should do. Don't saw the air. In any event, he says to them, don't mind the groundlings in the front row, right? They'll laugh at anything and they'll cry at anything. The one judicious guy in the back, that's who you got to play to. The one guy who knows what you're really doing.
Yeah.
And I said this to Byron, and I said that we've got to make this show like the only audience are the fucking people who are in this world. So they know the struggles. They know about alcoholism. They know about the pains of cutting weight. If we apply ourselves and we just want to go at that, everything else will fall into place. And that's why
it's so real.
Miraculously, we're on Netflix and people love the show.
Dude, it's so real. The connection, the family, just everything. Even the cutting weight shit's so fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
Nothing about that.
Yeah.
And there's so much. Here's another thing. There's so much drugs and alcohol. Can fighters drink and smoke and do drugs that much and, and still do a fight?
Yes,
and
they
stay
can.
in shape.
They can. And some of them can be great world champions.
Wow, man.
I mean, some of our greatest fighters have been busted with drugs. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, John Jones. He is maybe, when you see him in person, one of the most incredible human beings you've ever seen as far as an athlete. He's a freak of nature. And yet, look, I was a big Lawrence Taylor fan when I was growing up. That was my man. I went to Pace University when I was a kid to watch them practice, not knowing that he was doing blow in between downs. Athletes can do drugs and still be great. It's amazing.
Crazy.
You see it with Jay in the show.
Yeah, with Jay's.
It's sad.
I know, man.
Yeah.
And even Ryan Wheeler's character, all this is just wilding out like fucking.
Yeah. And what it does to your, look, a lot of people, you have to be a certain person to be a professional fighter.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some broken glass in there a little bit.
But it's nice to be in the Oz to prisons, Sopranos to mafia television.
Right.
Kingdom to mixed martial arts, which is a huge phenomenon now. We might have been even a little early.
Yep. You're exactly right.
When we talk about legacy and actors and losing Chadwick and everyone's talking about a legacy, I thank every day my lucky stars that this show got a platform to be a part of the legacy for you.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I know.
People talk about your work, and to me, there's nothing better on your resume.
I can't argue more.
And not a lot of people saw it, and it used to frustrate you to no end. And I didn't feel the frustration back then. And then you see what I was missing out on now, because I was in the bubble, so I was hearing how good it was. I was watching it every week.
Right.
Now I'm getting a whole different fucking avalanche of people going. My family members like, dude, I never knew the show existed.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
I know.
And
it's
now
crazy.
it fits into the legacy of a performer.
Yeah.
Whereas it could have just
gone away.
There.
Yeah, it could have gone away. And my love and respect for fighters, any kind of fighter. I mean, I don't care what you do. If you step in a cage or in a ring or on a mat or in sand somewhere in Senegal, Africa, I just have this immense amount of respect. And I'm humbled by anyone who chooses to do this for a living. I really do. And so I don't judge if any of them have bad behavior. I don't judge any of them, because unless you do what they do, you can't understand. I'm fascinated by them.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by them.
It made me want to actually get in shape more. And actually, I never watched any UFC fights, maybe a couple, but that's the most fighting I've ever watched in my life, like 3 seasons of it. And it seems so real and just everything about it, man.
It was 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Yeah. So DirecTV made
because there's 20 episodes
in the second season.
Yeah,
season. And that was a financial kind of thing.
That was weird. Why is there 20, man? It was weird.
Well, because they didn't have to pay us.
More.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, season 1 is 10 episodes. Season 2 is going to be 20 episodes. You mean it's season 2 and 3? No, it's just season 2.
A and B.
A and B. That's right.
There was kind of where I kept telling my wife, go, 1 more episode tonight, 1 more. We're staying up late binging. I go, this has to be only, and it was like 17, 8. I'm like, fuck, man. It's It's a lot, man. That
Yeah.
season.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem at all, but
I
yeah.
gotta finish him, and you keep stressing me out with the end.
I know, until the end of it. And then even that guy, what the fuck's his name? Patrick. He was like in fucking Ray Donovan and Narcos and Sons of Anarchy. He was the priest.
Oh, yeah.
Great actor, man.
Great.
He's in great fucking shows.
Not an easy role to pull off on that show.
No, man.
Yeah.
And just people, probably even Jamie Kennedy. And Max, one of our friends' wife, Josh James' wife, Fernanda, she was in there. Her name was Kill Simmons. A friend of mine's wife was in that show.
Oh, really?
For a second, yeah. She's one of the episodes. Fernanda's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of. My wife.
I know. I do. So I didn't know. I know it's tough, whatever subject, but I didn't know that was your wife. But then she was in that movie Wheelman too.
Yeah, we put it just at the end.
I know, but still, I just didn't know that was your wife.
That's her voice. Yeah.
I know that's your wife until later on. I'm like,
yeah. She's a great actress.
and fucking Nick Jonas, bro.
Yeah. How about that?
What the fuck? I couldn't name one Jonas Brothers song. I know who they are, but then seeing him acting was
and
just.
he did towards the end, he really came together.
Bro.
Like he learned how to be an actor.
And he hasn't seen the end, but.
Yeah.
There was this
No, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
But the heavy
Mac Brandt also always great. And I have to tell you, for my money, Joanna Going, I mean, should have won 3 Emmys.
She's incredible. The mom, incredible.
She's the range of this woman is phenomenal. And same with Keely Sanchez. She
came from Newport, Rhode Island, actually. That's where I used to live. Yeah. That was awesome seeing that. Brian Callen.
Yeah.
Fucking just so many people in this.
Yeah, it was good.
Paul Ben Victor from True Romance, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Love that guy.
Dude, he's so hard.
Come on, man.
He's fucking a badass.
Yeah, he's one of the guys, like when that actor walks in, you're like, oh, that guy's here.
You just know his face. His face is just like fucking. Obviously we saw Martinez and the Lisa Prince, whatever character, Kyle, not Laura.
Really, and really,
so
the shout out goes to Byron Belasco, the writer and showrunner and creator and the captain of that ship. And I got to tell you, I've been in Hollywood for a minute now, and Chris and Chris's company represents Byron. I think he's maybe one of the most talented and by far the most underrated writers in town. I really do. Yeah, I
can look him up and see all the stuff he's done for sure. And then what's his face too on here? I just saw up on there. The hotel guy. That's fucking Bubbles from The Wire. Andre Roy, you're fucking.
That's my boy.
That's Bubbles from The Wire, man.
Yeah, that's Andre Roy.
So amazing.
Also a great actor. And by the way, those were some of my favorite scenes,
dude.
Those were some of my favorite scenes. Is with Andre. Yeah,
liquid codeine shit.
Yeah, man. Purple drink.
That was so random. Like, what the fuck? Are we drinking this fucking purple drink?
Yeah, it was like another show.
Yeah, that was dark, man. It got real dark.
I can't believe we're talking about Kingdom. Let me tell you. Can I tell you the funny story? So Kingdom goes three seasons. It gets picked up at the rap party. The powers that be come and they say we're negotiating now. You're picked up for the 4th season, right? Which would have been the 5th season. So I'm in the process. I just bought a new house in Palisades.
Congratulations.
And this was 3 years ago. And so, I'm going back to do Kingdom, and in between that, we had movies lined up. Life's good, right? Yeah. Brand new house, the ocean, blah blah blah.
Fuck.
I'm driving. My wife at the time and my kids are in front of me, and I'm driving with myself in the back. And the phone rings, and it's Byron Belasco. And at the time, Byron was working with my partner and I. We were rewriting the movie The Raid.
Oh shit!
So we brought him on to write. And he goes, I go, hey. He goes, hey. I go, problem? He goes, yeah. I go, what, the script? He goes, no. They're not picking up the show. I go, very funny. What's going on? He goes, Frank, they canceled us. I'm like, they made an announcement at the rap party. They picked the show up. What do you mean they canceled us? And he goes, they canceled us. They couldn't make a deal with Endemol, the studio, and we're canceled.
What?
As he says that, I get to the driveway of my now brand new home and brand new mortgage.
Fuck.
Right? And, look, it was a part of the pie financially, but it was a nice part of the pie. And then the first 2 episodes of the new season, I was going to direct. So it was a big...
Also had gone through a very long
negotiation. So it was looking good. It was looking good for us.
Okay, right? Okay.
I'm putting the key in the door, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
Damn.
Yeah. So it kind of put a little sting. It never really worked out in that house for me.
Oh, no more.
I don't live there anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, they do, but I don't.
Okay, I got you. But now the show, like a couple weeks ago, when we were talking, we were gonna have it originally. You said it was like in the top, like it's one of the top watched shows. It comes up in my shit all the time. Like,
Yeah, does it? It's cool.
man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even your name on there, you're like all over the place on there. It's
You know what's funny? I have not gotten one, and this is the only time this has ever happened. I have not gotten one negative feedback at all.
dude.
Not one.
There's
not
nothing you
one.
can say about it, man. There's nothing you can fucking.
It's amazing. And I got to just say the name Charlie Jennings again. I got to say
Jennings?
Charlie Jennings, the
Okay.
fucking guy. And I was talking to Chris's brother, Kevin Uvain, who is one of the, owners of CAA,
Yeah.
the biggest agency in the world. And we were talking, and I said, I got to tell you, I said, Kev, I said, this is Kevin Uvain. I mean, he is at the top of the food chain. And I said, Kev, I mean, this is like arguably to me the best piece of agenting I've ever seen happen. He goes, it's the best agenting I've ever seen happen. I go, are you kidding me? He goes, it's amazing. And we talk about it. Unheard of. It's unheard of. So again, it's a testament to, don't yawn when I'm talking, but at 17, you should know this. It's
You
a
should have fucking
testament.
coffee, man.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
joking. He's a kid. He's growing. It's a testament to anything is possible. You should know this. Any fucking thing is possible.
And even later in life, though, that's fucking.
There are again, Kevin Uvain. I'm going to quote Kevin Uvain.
You look great for 36, by the way.
Thank you very much. Kevin Uvain, when I was stressed out about my career and working as a guest star on CSI, and I'd be like, it's done. I'm over. I'm old. He goes, let me tell you something. Stupid. There are no rules. There are no rules.
Yeah.
So stop. It doesn't matter where, when, how, why. There are no rules.
Yeah.
He's shocked at how much of a marshmallow Frank Grillo is.
A marshmallow.
He's a big softie.
No, he comes from a background that was, tough.
Yeah.
And he has, macho natural charisma. But when things would be, concerning, he would sit me down and say, dude, I'm soft. Like, I need to be told what's going to happen.
Right.
Well,
Right.
We would always say, Frank, I can tell you what's going to happen. You're going to work. And
it's,
you're going to work again.
it's true.
And then you're going to
It's
get
true.
upset.
Yeah, it's
You're
true.
going to work again.
It's true.
And Kevin would say that to me.
Yeah.
It's not your last job.
Yeah, and
Well-
it's true. And you know what? And Frank doesn't get upset really anymore. And we don't have those discussions.
You've gotten into a watershed moment in your career where you understand the rhythm now.
Yeah.
And when you're a working actor, as a failed actor for 6 years, it's the most unsettling, unstable feeling, not knowing when the fuck the next thing's.
Or if.
yeah, or if.
Yeah.
But when you've now gotten to where Frank is, it's like there's going to be opportunities. Yes, some things are going to piss me off that don't come together, but I know the work speaks for itself now.
Right.
And that's a very rarefied.
Yeah, and our relationship is so symbiotic. It's so beautiful.
I love it, man. That makes me I love
It is. It's like we don't even have to. I used to think we needed to talk all the time.
Every day.
And remember those days? And sometimes him and I don't talk for a week or two. And it's then when we know when I need him or he needs to talk to me, it's like, all right, what's up? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Or I need you to be on this call. Like I need, other than that, it's like the palm tree, man. We just kind of go with the flow.
Two things. I know that you're soft because you like Coldplay, and that made me so happy. You
I love Coldplay.
that you fuck with Coldplay. Like
I fucking love.
You could be
Coldplay.
like
how do you not appreciate Coldplay, man?
You could be like
Chris
a
Martin-
New York, like
Chris
kind of rocky
Martin-
dude, but
Chris
fucking
Martin, come on,
dude.
Makes me sad.
It makes him.
It's sad. It's like emotional.
It's super. It makes
Right?
him
I like
sad.
being emotional, but it's like
We have memories
No, I
together.
like to be
going to see
sad.
Coldplay shows together.
Piano and clocks.
Oh, he's so talented.
He's so talented. When you come, I was like, yo, fucking Frank Grillo backs Coldplay.
All day,
That shit's
every
hard.
day, man. I don't go bad on Chris Martin.
Did you ever feel like quitting acting?
100,000 times. But
Closest,
there's something. I'm a blue collar guy who grew up a feral child. I don't have a lot of talent. The one thing that I've instilled in my kids and the one thing that I live by is just don't quit.
I love that shit.
Don't fucking quit, man.
Yeah.
Just don't quit.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're going to be successful.
Unless you're hungry and in Morocco.
Unless you're hungry in Morocco and you need a banana.
If you want to hear a great story, Toby,
Yes.
tell about Morocco.
Tell me about Rock. Tell me about Rock. I'm down.
This was actually, it was my first movie. I was living in New York. It was actually my first lead movie. It was, Luc Besson was the great French director. Luc Besson was producing it. And it was me and a great cast.
Okay.
And I was in Morocco. And it was a little over my skis. I never been the lead of a fucking, and it was a drama thriller, and it was a lot of work.
Okay.
And I was in a foreign country, and there's no, people are wearing muumuus. They're not, it's not the United States or Europe. It's, you have to respect the culture. And,
totally.
Basically craft services was, like a little cup of tea and a fig. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I'm working. It's 110 degrees. There's barely bottled water, and I'm in every scene, and I'm dying. Right. Yeah. I work hard. Right. I'm like, I need a banana. I need something. I need a banana, and I need some coffee. You got to get me some coffee and get me a banana. So nobody gets me anything. Nobody cares.
Oh, shit.
Right. They look at me like I'm crazy. So I call Chris, and I go, motherfucker, I need a fucking banana. I'm quitting this fucking, I'm going home. And Chris like, listen to me. I'm like, what the fuck are you going to tell me? All right. Where are you, at the pool? What are you going to tell me? He goes, do not walk off the set. If you walk off the set, I can't help you. I go, what the fuck you want me to do? I need a fucking banana. Get me a fucking banana. Bro, everybody heard me on the phone.
Oh, shit.
So the next day, they bring me 16 bushels of fucking, like they just picked them off the trees.
Holy shit.
And they left, and I got my bananas. From that day on, everyone on set called me Frankie Bananas.
Oh my God. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, but I didn't leave. And he said to me, do not, he was yelling at me,
repeat.
do not walk off that set. I just want a fucking banana.
It was
So that was the closest you come to quitting?
I was a temperament. I still am. I'm like a temperamental guy. Look, I've had to do some things that what we call in the business low-hanging fruit.
Gotcha.
And so, but I consider when I go to work, I'm like, this might as well be an Oscar contender. Like I treat it like, because I'm afraid otherwise. If I don't work the same way, I'm afraid I'm not going to be good, right? Because I don't know. Again, I'm not, a fucking classically trained actor. I'm trained, but in my own way. I found things that made me understand the craft, right?
Totally.
So I panic. When I panic, I get mad, right? Yeah. So in those days when I'm doing certain things and people they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It would drive me crazy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people say, hey man, George Clooney doesn't act like that. I'm like, he's George fucking Clooney.
Exactly.
He's the king of the world when he's on the set. He's got every fucking banana he wants.
Exactly.
But I've learned, look, I'm not, a lot of times I think back now and I'm not proud of that. Like I lost control. When you lose control, you lose power. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, and being on the producerial side and getting more understanding of the process of filmmaking and what it takes to not only put a movie together, but hold a movie together. Yeah. I'm far more understanding and I try to be more compassionate towards people who don't work as hard as I do, or I don't see them as working. Listen, it's not their problem if they don't work as hard as I do.
The best trait about Frank is that when you talk to actors, none of them work 8 hours a day. Even when they're working, right? They may do a heavy day of shooting, 16 hours, but out of that, they're shooting 3.
Right, maybe.
Nursing an hour. And I tell actors, like, if you're not working 8 hours a day, you don't have a job. Frank gets a script. He reads it usually within 24 hours, which I don't have another client that does that. And even when he's busy, he'll read it. He'll stay up and lose sleep in order to read it. Has thoughts on it the next day. And then if he agrees to meet the director or engage, the notes. He has books of notes, markups. What is the character thinking? That's art to me. That's
totally.
art.
Yeah.
That's painting, that's writing, that's it's not his words on the screen. Sometimes something will change, but it's the mentality of the character on the page so he can remind himself.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and by the way, a lot of that comes from my blue collar. Yeah. One thing, my father, rest his soul, had a bit of a troubled life, had a drinking problem and stuff. But the one thing my father did every day, I swear to God, bar none, the one thing, he got up every day, put his shoes on, and I don't know where the guy went. But he worked. He was a laborer. He delivered bread. Like the guy had jobs. He never had a career. He had a bunch of jobs. Never. I don't care if he had pneumonia. This guy got up every day, put his shoes on, and went to work. Yeah. And I think, people say, "Oh, did you ever get anything from your father?" I'm like, and I think about it. I'm like, you know what I got from my old man? I watched him get up every day and fucking go to work. And they weren't fun jobs.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They were jobs. Like he was a laborer on construction sites in his 50s, making $50 a day in the winter in New York City. Not easy to do.
No.
So yeah, put your shoes. There's the other lesson. Put your shoes on and go to work.
Yeah. How similar is Alvy and you compared in real life? Similarities.
Some ways very similar. The way I love my children. I think Alvy, and I just, my children are my life. I love my kids so much, and I would die for my kids. I think Alvy had the same thing. I mean, he struggled with it differently.
And tough love too.
And tough love. And, I think Alvy's Alvy was a soul. I think Alvy loved people. I think, and I think Alvy had a lot of problems with himself, believing in himself. I think I've struggled with things like that as I've, gone through life. But he's extreme. Alvy's he's hyper violent, and I can be aggressive sometimes, but I'm not walking around fighting people. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it, Chris and I, who we want to kill. The reason why we've loved each other from 20 years ago is because we hate all the same people.
Gotcha. That's perfect. Well,
I would say it's the only character you've admitted to me affected your day-to-day life at times.
It did. It's the good point.
It got heavy?
I couldn't let it go. And even my wife, she would say to me, hey man, leave this at home. Leave this at work. I'm like, leave what? And I got to tell you, I think part of it changed my DNA. I think there are parts of Alvy, parts of the process of making Kingdom, of being the number one and being really wanting it to be something special. It changed me.
Wow.
It changed me. And I've
in
heard,
a good way.
And some in a not so good way, some ways that have exposed things about me that I now am in therapy about. But I've often heard actors say things like that. And I'd be like, come on, that's bullshit. That's actor shit nonsense. It's true. Because where the head goes, the body follows, and so that's a fighting analogy. And I think Alvy changed me in a way. My voice even changed from the time I started Kingdom to the time I finished Kingdom.
So it's kind of therapeutic for you.
It was therapeutic, and it remains to be therapeutic.
It was therapeutic for me too, in a sense too. I never had therapy before till I'm 50 years old. My dad died when I was young. My mom raised three boys on her own, and we never went to the funeral. We never had closure with my pops. It fucked up my other two brothers, and I feel like I could use some therapy too.
I'm going to tell you, as a man in his mid 50s now, I started at around 50 with therapy.
Okay,
and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life, ever. In fact, I'm going through a divorce, and I have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, two boys, and I believe in it so much that I'm sending them.
Okay.
My ex-wife and I are sending them both to go to therapists, because if I had started then, I mean, you love therapy, right? Yeah. I mean, it's for guys like us especially. It really lands. It works.
But it brings out.
I got dad issues for sure.
Your empathy and compassion.
Exactly right.
And it taps into that access to that. I went through a fucking nervous breakdown 2 years ago, and this guy would call me every day. Frank would call me every day. How we feeling? How we doing? No pressure. He's like, if you want to come out, and I was so scared to leave the house, and then you got me to go out to that party.
Yeah.
And just a little simple party. I didn't even drink. I didn't even have a drink. And I just was like, oh.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. And that was a little tiny gesture. And the next day he was like, I'm coming over the house. And I don't even know would you have done that pre-therapy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you were very
well, you wonder, because you start to understand. And again, being a man, is a difficult thing. Being a father, being somebody who's got a lot of responsibility professionally, where you have other people's lives in your hands, their careers. And what happens, like with Chris, you're not necessarily just a manager anymore. Now you're like a life coach, you're a manager, you're a fucking therapist.
Everything.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You might be a bank,
a brother, everything.
Everything. And that weighs a lot on, I'm a father of three. free. I'm getting divorced for the second time. I have a career, always trying to be better. I'm still a young actor trying to get better in my head. And I have a business now. And people want things from you emotionally, and they don't necessarily care because look, you got your shit under control and you're doing great, and so you should have answers and you should be able to endure all of my shit too.
Yeah,
I know, and this is where therapy comes in because you get to dump that and kind of figure out how to make boundaries and why you make decisions that you do or why you have behaviors that you have. And at our age, I think it could be a lifesaver.
I think so too. I've been talking about it for years. Nobody in my family's got it. My mom never got it. But Max, you feel like I'm super emotional dad, a little bit too much?
No, there's no too much. You don't express it. I mean, you express it, but only when you need to. It's not a bad thing. Every man should be expressive and emotional. But I don't think that, you might need therapy, but it's only in dad movies and movies with father issues, and it comes out and you always it's not bad. I love you and you tell me you love me, but sometimes it's I love you so much. I want to be here. I know you want to be here for me.
I'm getting emotional now. You're killing me.
Right.
All right, good.
Right. But he's 17 years old, right? Look at how perceptive he is. But here's the deal.
I know, man.
It's not that you need therapy because something's wrong with you. You go to therapy to express and expose things that are so primal and bottled in, and things that are just ingrained in your brain as a response based on things that might trigger you.
Okay.
And so you learn about these things and they never go away.
Yeah.
You make relationships with them
so
that when they arise, you're not repeating behaviors that aren't really beneficial.
Got you. That's really
and that's kind
amazing.
of that's how I find it to be really.
Yeah.
You're very articulate about it.
Yeah, that was really great, man.
I love Frank says I'm not a smart guy. And then he talks like that. And then when I see him do math, I'm like, I got a fucking mind.
You just broke that down really smart. I'm sure it digs up ghosts.
I'm not a smart guy. I'm an old guy who I've been around a while.
Wise.
Yeah.
You've used a lot of big words today that I've noticed. You recite stuff from Hamlet and stuff like that. You remember it.
Yeah, well, things you'll
memory.
You'll notice as you get older and you're reading things, I'd like to read a lot, but things. Listen, it's your responsibility to remember the things that affect you in the moment, because there's a reason they affect you, and they're going to be able to be used, or you'll be able to regurgitate them at another time to help a friend.
Yeah.
Right? Or to help a friend. And so it's the great thing about life is listen, I said it in Warrior. It's a great line in Warrior. Move or die. Yeah. Move or die. So that's I love that. That's the mission statement. You keep moving, keep learning, keep wanting to get better. Do you know? Or you die. And not giving up. Don't give up. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't. Super positive. Listen, this guy's a testament to not giving up too, because he's gone through. He found himself after kind of looking at other, and he had a successful career as a publicist. Yeah. Then he had a successful career with GQ magazine. That's right. But it wasn't for him. Yeah. He found himself, and this beginning of this career was a bumpy one. Mm-hmm. Remember, it was, I don't know, because then he had his brothers who were titans in the business and their respective that pressure, right? And rose to the occasion. How many years you guys been working together for? 10 years. Oh shit! Wow, man. Yeah. That's incredible.
And the truth was, it was a complicated issue at first because Frank was at a different agency, right? And CAA signs him. He was managed. Right. And that shut out. I'm not going to talk about that. Why? It was a great story. No. But I then was like, please ask me to the prom. I want to do this with you. Right. But I need you to ask me because I look like a predator if I pounce on the guy. Yeah. And we were talking about it because I was helping you through the process at CAA. And you were like, dude, we should just do this together. Yeah. And I was like, Frank, yes, I would love to do this. Come to the office tomorrow. Yeah, and I did. I came to the office the next day. I went to CAA one day and then to that office. Honestly, I would say that was the one thing that, at least in the beginning, the one thing I actually could say I did that with him.
Right. Absolutely right.
People I worked with already sort of had their big shows.
Right.
Yeah. I would get put on a team, but this was like ground up, brick by brick.
Yeah, it's like, look, it's like your first hit of ecstasy. You never forget it, right? And it's like, I'm his first hit of ecstasy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then he went on to represent super talented, super successful movie stars, and rightfully so. But you can never forget your first hit of ecstasy.
No, for sure. Are you guys both sober guys or no? No.
Sober?
Yeah.
No. I don't, I go, it ebbs and flows with me. Like I'm going to do a movie now and, there's no more booze. I drink rosé. That's my thing. So I'm a rosé guy and that's my vice. I've never smoked. I don't do drugs. Anymore. But I've never done cocaine. But my rosé is never going away.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Today.
And I saw you guys had Vega on there, which is really cool. Vega was like some of the sponsors on Kingdom.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of.
But it's like a vegan protein. I saw. I was like, oh, she like
Vega. Yeah, that's Brendan Brazier.
Yeah,
that's
good dude.
He's a buddy.
Yeah, good dude. Yeah, that's fucking small world. I saw that.
Yeah.
You seem super positive. One of my questions is you're optimist or pessimist, but you seem super.
I am. For the most part, I am. I am super. I do get. I still do need to be cognizant of my temper and my ability to go south on somebody if I feel they're trying to take the piss out of me, or there's still the kid from the Bronx, the kid growing up by himself who's somebody's kicking dirt on you. And
we still have a hit list.
Yeah, we still have a hit list. Somebody makes me feel invisible for some reason. It's
you check them.
Yeah, and it's like, and my wife used to say to me, at what age are you going to stop saying you're going to punch people in the face? I'm like, when I'm dead, that's when. Because listen, if I have to get down to the lowest common denominator, which is I'm going to punch you in the face, then I'm going to say that, Hopefully I don't have to do it, but that's why we train every day.
That's like the East Coast edge, though. Living out here, over like being in New York or living out here, over people, the edge is different.
Yeah,
man.
a lot of people in LA have never been punched in the face.
No, and a lot of people need to.
Yeah, I was in Oklahoma doing a movie. In Oklahoma, which is an all red state, they are allowed to carry weapons on their hips without licenses. But you know what's good about it? I was saying to one guy, because he's got a gun on his hip. He had two guns. He was like, fucking quick draw. I said, is there a lot of shootings? He goes, no, there's no shootings. I go, and he goes, no, there's no road rage. Nobody screams at each other. You know why? You never know who's going to shoot you. So everybody's kind of cool. I'm like, well, I never thought of it that way.
Even Texas, there's not much happening there when there's open carry there as well.
Yeah.
When you'll hear about things.
But see, my point is that, people it's specifically in LA, a lot of people have never been chin checked, as I like to say. And so they're mouthy. And I'm like, wow, a dude's never punched you in the face.
Never, man.
Because you just talk like you're an 8-year-old kid in a playground. Yeah.
Passive aggressive shit out here for sure.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're still men.
So you're more of a realist than an optimist.
I am, but I like to be optimistic, but I also am a very melancholy guy. I like cloudy days, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, music-wise, you like The Cure?
Love.
Damn, I pinned this motherfucker. Cure, Coldplay. So you like that kind of?
I love it. I mean, I think what's his face is a genius. What's his name?
Chris Martin.
No,
Robert Smith.
Robert Smith.
Amazing,
fucking
dude.
genius.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I also love all. I mean, Led Zeppelin's my favorite.
Gotcha.
I listen to Led Zeppelin all fucking day. I listen to Bob Marley all day. I listen to Bach and Beethoven a lot. It's on when my kids are at the house. I let them listen to some classical music. I love some country. I discovered this new kid, Colton Wall.
Okay.
Fucking amazing.
Young kid.
Sounds like Johnny Cash. What's his name?
Johnny Cash is fucking.
Dude, I'm telling you, this kid, and I think he's been around for a minute, but it's my discovery. He's 24 years old. His name is Coulter Wall.
Okay.
Coulter Wall.
I can check him out.
Wait. Just listen to his voice. He's 24.
He looks young. Yeah. Johnny Cash is the best. Am I in trouble for playing this shit on here?
No. Are you kidding me? He should want that. Here it comes. Ready?
That's good.
Listen to his voice.
It does, man.
So I want this in Cop Shop.
Amazing.
You just said it here on the podcast.
He's gonna be so hyped.
He'd be so hyped. Totally Johnny Cash.
24. How do you get a voice like that?
Sounds like Johnny Cash.
Holy shit. Dude, Colton Wall, man.
Colton Wall. I'm shouting him out.
You just found him?
My buddy, Bo Knapp, who I just did a movie with, who just had an amazing reviews out of Venice for his film. Congratulations, Bo Knapp. Turned me on to Colton Wall.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's total Johnny Cash.
Colton Wall.
Coulter, Colter.
What about hip hop? Any hip hop you grew up on?
All hip hop, man. I'm from the Bronx, man. Where did hip hop come from?
That's awesome.
Cool Herc. I mean, I grew up on all old. Yeah.
That's sick.
Love hip hop. Listen. I can listen to anything, and
What about punk rock? You dabble in that? CBGB's like
a little bit. And my partner and I just, along with another production company, we just obtained the rights to the CBGB story through Hilly's family.
Holy shit.
So we just interviewed David Byrne, and we were on the phone with Debbie Harry. So we're going to do it as a series told from the perspective of the stage manager, who was a woman.
Wow.
From early CBGB days. And
This
so
is
John
fucking-
Joseph is going to be one of the writers.
Wow,
We're putting a
man.
writer's room together now. Yeah.
That's fucking huge. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That story needs to be told.
I know.
And
I
from
know.
Hilly's family, that's fucking.
And
that's
Hilly didn't want,
blessing.
Hilly, listen, that Hilly wasn't about punk rock in the beginning, and, right?
Yeah, that's fucking.
Yeah.
That's huge news. That'll be coming out next year, maybe.
So, I mean, it's in development now, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Do you have a top 5, like artists or inspirations?
Artists is in music?
Whatever, yeah, whatever, like inspirations in your life.
That's
Could be musicians, could be actors.
That's a great.
Pacino's one, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, Pacino acting wise,
Yeah.
Pacino was always, because unlike De Niro, he really did a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So did Dustin Hoffman. Follow Dustin Hoffman's early career.
great too,
with
man.
Mike
Yeah.
Nichols and.
Also put me onto a lot of writers.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that. I'm not really influenced by anybody to the point where I'm like obsessed, but I just kind of, I'm a very curious dude.
Yeah.
Which is good for our sons to instill in our boys and girls, is to be curious.
Yeah.
Right? To ask why.
Yeah.
Right?
And check out new things.
The
Everything,
big
right?
why question, and especially if you're creative. Why?
Yeah.
So.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot, man. We covered fucking.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to want to hear me talk this much.
Dude. Dude, I really appreciate Chris. Thanks for making this happen. Frank, I'm
was
so
great.
honored to have you in my fucking kitchen.
Man.
I love all your work. And we come from similar groups of people and same friends.
Yeah.
And
It's great. As we get older, I think men tend to coagulate groups of people that they now find to be right. You and I will become like brothers, and we meet in our 50s. Brolin too. Like there was I met him a couple of times, but there was something about the guy.
It's a connection there, man.
It's a connection, and then you don't have to go on vacation together to be boys. You know what I mean? So I love adding on to the fucking tribe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thanks for making it happen. And
thank you. Yeah,
fathers too.
Fathers, man.
And I'm so thanks for coming and being here. I'm so proud of all the shit you've accomplished.
I love it, man.
You've grinded your whole life. You have a longevity career, and you busted your ass. And it's inspiring because as a musician, as 50 years old, being in the band 25 years, like keep pushing, never give up, believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, and you're living proof of that, man.
Believe in yourself.
And you look so good for 36.
Thank you, man. 36 came soon, though. It came too soon.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
All right, man.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.